If there's one thing I never get tired of, it's seeing this thing show up at my house. Got 5 books in from CGC, and so I'm going to go ahead and get these unboxed, and let's take a look at what we got today. All right, let's go ahead and get started. The first book I've got is Transformers #1. Now this is second printing. Now all of these books I want to get in as high a grade as possible. Pretty much every single title here I would like to have in the personal collection, as high of a grade as I can go. So there's generally a rotation of books I go through when I'm looking for books to buy, and a lot of them, or most of them, are Copper Age books, as most of you probably know. I picked this one up for $37, and it looked like a 7.5, and I thought I could, with a clean and a press, get it to an 8.5 to a 9.0. So that's what I'm hoping for, 8.5 to 9.0. And even though it is a second printing, this is still a highly sought after book and people will buy it, and there is value here. So let's go ahead and see what CGC did. Got the 9.0, which is at the top of the range of what we wanted. Not going to complain. That's very, very cool. And this is a nice book to get it from. It was pretty rough. You know, it was bent up pretty good. There were quite a few pressable defects on it. There was a few that I just couldn't get out, though. The second one we've got here is Masters of the Universe. Also another cartoon from the 1980s. This one is a newsstand edition. I don't believe they were all newsstands. And I just noticed it does not say newsstand up here. And I thought CGC was doing that. Now, maybe for some reason on this book, but correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there is a direct version of this book. So I'm not sure why, for a 1986 book, on this one they would not put newsstand. It doesn't really matter because anybody buying this book will know it's a newsstand and pay a premium for it, just because it's a little bit more rare, especially in the ultra high grades. Now this one is not ultra high grade from what I remember and my notes say, but I did pick this book up for $5. So, and it looked great, except for what I thought was mostly pressable defects. This was a nice looking book when you held it out here, but once you get it in the light, there was plenty of defects on it, and I thought it would take it down to a 7.5. It had definitely been read quite a bit, but the spine was pretty clean, and but there was some defects that I couldn't get out. So I thought this was a 7.0 when I picked it up, and I thought I could get it up as high as to a 9.0 or a 9.2. Even though I thought it was a 7.0, it was a very good presenting book. It just had a bunch of crinkling, and it obviously had been read a lot and laid out a lot during its life. It wasn't just stuck in a bag and a board for his entire life. As with a lot of newsstands, that was the case, which makes them more rare at the higher grades. So let's see what CGC did. We're hoping for a 9.0 to a 9.2. Wow, okay. A 9.6 newsstand on this book is really cool. It has a couple color breaking ticks right here. That's the main things that held this book back. Well, I don't want to, what am I talking about? It wasn't held back. I thought this could be a 9.2 at most. But what I'm saying is there's no way this could ever be a 9.8. And as you know, I'm a little conservative on my grading. So when I say 9.0 to 9.2, that's generally 9.2 to 9.4. Sometimes an outside chance of 9.6. So I think we got that outside chance here just because of my conservative grading. And I know there's got to be conservative graders at CGC. I've heard talk of them, but I haven't, knock on wood, came up across one yet. These might be the only major defects, and they're not even major. I am not going to argue with a grader, especially when it's in my favor, right? So we'll definitely love to have this one in the PC. So the next book is another one that I may have featured in unboxings before. It's a book that it's been on my radar. But this is early Todd McFarlane. In fact, it's supposed to be a tie for the McFarlane first published art, and it's the second story by him, according to this. So this is one of his better first covers, I think. I paid $29 for this one. You can get these anywhere from $15 to $25. It looked ultra clean online, so I went ahead and paid a little bit more. So, but when it came in, I thought it was a 9.2, but I thought there was a chance I could get it to 9.4 to 9.6. So 9.4 to 9.6, let's see what happened. 9.8. Very cool. I pressed and cleaned this book. Once again, I'm a conservative grader, so I'm not shocked anymore by 9.8s. Only when I think it's like a cap of 9.0 or 8.5 am I shocked by 9.8. But when I think it could possibly get 9.6, generally I think that's a strong case for 9.6 with an outside chance of 9.8. The Newton rings are definitely still on these books, and I actually saw the interview with the CGC president when he was talking to one of the other YouTubers out there, and I forget who. And he was talking about how one of their big challenges was Newton rings last year and how they've done all this work towards getting them better, but I still see them almost on every book. So if you're watching this, CGC, and they're actually different now. They used to be like a big puddle right here. Now they seem to be higher on the books, like up in this area, which is actually kind of worse, but I mean, every single, I would say 100% of my slabs have Newton rings. 100%, even if it's just minor. Now, I did a video on how to correct. Sometimes you get 100% out. Sometimes you can only get half of them out with my method. But I shouldn't have to do that. And there's no way I'm sending back all these books for reholdering. So please, please do something to correct this issue. But I'm not going to dwell on that because I've talked about Newton rings in the past. But still happy to get a 9.8 beautiful copy of Infinity Ink 14. And this will be my PC version, and I'll sell the one on the wall that's currently up there. So yeah, very, very cool. Got a 9.8 in this submission. So we have Super Mario's Adventures. This is not Super Mario Brothers. This is Adventures, but it still it came out a year later, and basically it's a reprint. But it still has a lot of value. These sell for good value. And with the Mario movies coming out, hopefully I make a little bit of profit on the ones that I sell. But the highest grade one I am keeping for my personal collection. Unless it just goes astronomically high, then I might just sell it, wait for it to come back down and buy again. But anyway, I thought it was an 8.5. Now, every single book I got had that bad soiling here, but this was the cleanest copy as far as spine ticks and other things like that before I worked on it. But I thought I still was only able to get it up to the maximum of around a 9.2. So started an 8.5, hoping for a 9.2. I don't know if I have a 9.0 copy of this. I think my highest grade otherwise is an 8.5, which is good. I like having the 8.5, but I'm trying to get a 9.0 or better copy of this. So let's see. Got the 9.2. I'm thrilled. This probably will end up being my personal collection copy. And yeah, it's got the Newton ring right here. Not going to dwell on that. But yeah, some scuffs on the case here. But yeah, pretty book. But it does have a couple big ticks on the back. And didn't have the tears that some of the books have and all that good stuff. But yeah, very, very happy to have Adventures of Super Mario Brothers #1 in a 9.2. And not sure what the value is on that. I'm sure it's well above the $92 that I paid though. Okay, last book, but certainly not least, is Marvel Team Up #141. Ties for the first black suit with Amazing Spider-Man 252. And you know, I just noticed it is a newsstand, and this was just graded like just a couple days ago before they shipped it. It actually shipped pretty fast. And it does not say newsstand here. I thought they had already started doing that, but obviously they're missing a few, or I don't know what the rules are on that, or maybe they haven't implemented that yet. I'm not sure. So anyway, I don't really care because it's obviously a newsstand, right? And so we have this beautiful purple cover, which I love this cover. I mean, everybody tends to favor 252, but I absolutely love this purple cover with the yellow. But it does make it exceptionally hard to get ultra high grade in it. It's actually harder to get high grade, I believe, in this one than it is in 252. So yeah, so I got this book for $94. I probably paid a little bit more than I should have on this book. But you know, it's a highly sought after book. It's hard to get it ultra cheap unless it's in mid grade or something like that. But I did think it had good bones on it and was potentially improvable quite a bit. I already have a 9.2 copy of this book in newsstand right up there. So if I could somehow find a 9.4, that would be awesome. It would become my new personal collection book. But anyway, this is the last book. Let's see what CGC did on this one. I was hoping for a 9.0 to a 9.2. If I somehow got a 9.4 and replace that copy, great. If not, we'll accept whatever we get. And let's see what CGC did. We got the 9.4, which is an upgrade for me, which is awesome. It'll replace this one right up here. One that I cleaned and pressed will take the place of that one. Probably sell that one, maybe on Shortboxed if you want to check out. The link is in the description if you want to pick up any books maybe that I am selling. But yeah, this will be a great addition to my personal collection right here. This is a beautiful book. And yeah, it has a couple major ticks right here on the back that kind of hold it back. But that is where all the flaws tend to be on this book. The front spine is actually really clean, which is probably why I bought this book. Sometimes when you buy a book, they don't have good covers, back cover photos, or the lighting is just right where you can't see it. So that's kind of the big, you got to look at the back cover too. But anyways, this is staying long-term in the personal collection, at least until I find a 9.6 or better, right? So once again, I'm thrilled about this. Very happy with the way things going, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and just try to steadily improve at what I'm doing as I go. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.